Well, I saw a movie, so you didn't have to. That's right, I went to go see the movie Minecraft. And you know what? It wasn't as bad as I was expecting. As a matter of fact, if you're a kid or even a teenager, you might find some real enjoyment in this movie. And if you're an adult that actually has to go and see it with a kid or a teenager, well, at least you won't be completely turned off. If you're okay with an exposition dump at the very beginning of the film, courtesy of Narration by Jack Black, then you're going to be just fine. And if you find his voice and his mannerisms and everything having to do with Jack Black to be a bit annoying, well, I'm going to say I'm sorry, because there's an awful lot of that. But I saw a movie, so you didn't have to. Here we go. Jack Black has always been a really interesting guy. Jason Momoa has always been an odd duck. And the combination of the two of them is uniquely fascinating during the course of the film. And I'm not going to give you any spoilers, so no worries there. I am going to say that the bromanship, the brodaciousness of the bromanship, that can get a little odd at times, and there may be some suggestions that there's something maybe going on there. Of course, there's always a little bit of that because Hollywood doesn't know what male friendship actually looks like, or at least they pretend not to. At its core, this story is all about Minecraft and the creation of Overworld and all of the things that can happen when you happen to be in charge of Overworld as the only human. Now, Steve is that human, and Steve's story is, well, Steve's. And it's very fascinating that it reaches deep into the lore of the game throughout to kind of explain some of the stuff that's going to happen in the film. So don't be afraid if you've never played Minecraft or you're unfamiliar with it, you've never watched somebody stream it or anything like that, because you're going to get a pretty quick and dirty short course on Minecraft. And I will say that there are very creative ways to bring these things to life. Now, I was concerned I would be turned off by the visual, and to a small extent, I was. However, it worked within the framework of the film. In fact, that's going to be something that I will have to repeat more than a few times if I was going to be very pedantic and take you scene by scene through this movie. I'm not going to do that. You don't have time for that, and I don't want to talk about it that much. I will say that this world is actually pretty understandable once you just watch the first 20 minutes of the film. It's also got a little bit of a story to it that serves a moral purpose and a very strange kind of family that forms during the course of this adventure. And for whatever reason, all of these characters work well together. In fact, it's built in a way that few films are these days, in allowing you to actually create a bond with the characters, which, again, surprises me. As a film adaptation, this could have been better served as all animation, but in this case, that's not what we got. We got a failed video game professional, which is odd. We got Steve himself, who just wanted to, mine and create things, and you got a couple of kids who really aren't old enough to take care of themselves or have one taking care of the other. And yet, that's what happens. And finally, you have a unique kind of animal wrangler with like 15 different side hustles. All in all, that's your crew for Minecraft. And then, of course, you have your evil pigs, your villagers, your crazy animals, and, everything in between. And oddly, because there's not a whole lot of plot here, I can't spoil that. I can say that from different mini-adventure to different mini-adventure, you will be, most likely, entertained. Don't try to make too much sense of it. Turn your brain off and enjoy it, especially if you're an adult, and it'll probably be okay. Mind you, this is not a culturally destructive film, which is kind of saying something these days. I mean, it's not going to add anything to the culture, and you're going to get a couple of really bad Jack Black songs, so enjoy that. In fact, I don't think this guy can help but sing during anything going forward. Maybe that's the expectation for him. Maybe it's just part of his shtick, but there are a couple of moments I just wish weren't there. Outside of that, anytime he wasn't singing, the soundtrack is surprisingly good, and it goes full retro back to the 80s because, let's face it, the 80s and 90s, they were, better music than we've got today. And I think everybody here knows that. And for whatever reason, I think I heard like some kind of B-52s track. So that was kind of neat. In the end, you get some satisfaction and Steve's return to the real world. And outside from that, I'm really not going to spoil it, but I think you will appreciate that they went to some effort to make this work. And look, they've been working on this film since 2014, from what I'm to understand, and that's a long time. But this film, not a long time. Really, there's only about 90 minutes of content and an hour and 40 minutes of, well, actual film time. And you'll get to see some really great trailers if you see this in the theater, because the last thing I saw was a mega cut of the latest Superman. And I have to tell you, that film's starting to grow on me. I was originally quite concerned about that, but after seeing this new trailer, not so much. And for me, the most entertaining part was early in the film with a lava chicken. Yeah, wait till you see that. Very interesting. I was a little turned off by Jason Momoa playing extra dumb throughout this film, but again, this is very over the top and it's not aimed at adult people. So your 8 to 15-year-old probably will be fine with this film, and it's okay for them to see. The violence is not as violent as you would think, more than anything, slapstick humor. But let's get down to the brass tacks. What is this film and what do I rate it? Well, this film is a comedy aimed at kids and young adults. Adult people are just gonna have to suffer it, although, believe it or not, some of you may enjoy it. It is no cinematic masterpiece, nor does anybody pretend it was going to be, but it didn't offend in a way that would, well, push the audience away. And there wasn't a whole lot of overt anything in it, so you can't even point towards politics as a point of failure. In looking at it from a much larger view, high angle, you'll decide that this film is probably about a 6 or a 7 out of 10. And that's reasonable. I'm going to give it a 6.5. Why? Because it just wasn't my fare. And again, no cinematic masterpiece. But it is something that a lot of films haven't been recently, entertaining, which I guess that's what we go for, right? If you're looking at the 5-star system, which I just consider much more reliable, I'm going to give it 3 stars, which is right in the middle. This is an average film with a lot of reach. It actually has a little bit of heart, and if you spend enough time there without thinking too hard about it, you're gonna probably enjoy yourself, or at least walk out of the theater feeling better than when you went in. And again, that's another thing we go to the movies for. And my final thoughts are more related to the fact that this is going to please a youthful audience, and that's a good thing because they've had a lot of disappointments of late. And I think that this may do some bigger numbers than I expected. I can understand why some of the people early on thought this movie might be around 100 million in opening, and I'm going to say it could get there. I think a solid 85 to 90 million is reasonable. 100 million may be within reach, but I think it's a stretch to expect anything more. I also expect that this will fall off rather quickly like many of the recent films have, because I think the people who want to see it, unless the word of mouth is overwhelming, are going to see it this first weekend. So my expectations for the legs, though, they'll only grow if the word of mouth is nothing but positive. And for some, it may be. So we'll see how the hype builds. We'll judge this film going into the second weekend. But as far as going to see it, relatively inoffensive. So if you're forced to go by your kids or grandkids, well, you won't have to wear earplugs and you might get a few laughs for yourself. Anyway, those are my thoughts about the movie Minecraft with Jack Black, Jason Momoa, and 3 unknown people. Oh, and there's a Jennifer Coolidge appearance, by the way, which is kind of unnecessary, but hey, I guess she's hot in Hollywood circles. Let me know your thoughts about the movie in the comments section below. Are you going to go see the movie? Have you seen the movie? And if so, what did you think about it? Because I'd be interested in comparing notes. And if you're really, really set on spoilers, give me a few days and I'll probably give my thoughts during one of my live streams. On that note, be sure to take care of yourself. Take care of others. Wash your hands because it's good hygiene. Plus, you went to a movie. And until next time, see ya, for real.